Hey everyone, it's me, dear Daniel. I may look a bit different because you want to hear a funny story. I recorded all the other parts for this beforehand, and then the second week, something happened to my phone, and I had to reinstall the app. I think it got updated, or it just lost all my different characters from before. So I have to recreate it, and so this is what I kind of look like now because my hair is a bit longer. I need to get a haircut, and hopefully it doesn't change too much. It's still me. You can still hear me. You can still see my mouth move. This is still me. So what happened, like I said before, is I recorded major parts first, like the different major divisions, and then in between I had to do more research and had to write out what I was going to say and plan it out and all that, fun stuff. So now, don't worry about my look. Just listen to my voice, and some of you don't even see my picture, so that's fine, right? You don't even see my video where I'm walking around talking, and there's not too much to see actually. It's not really a live recording. But I hope you enjoy this nonetheless. I'm going to try to adjust it a bit more so you can actually see me a bit more. If I can try to do that a bit. Give me a second. Um, Actually, maybe not. Let me just begin. So let's begin with the first part. I think in the first big part we're looking at the introduction, right? So this is going to be my introduction. Yeah, I forgot to record the introduction. Usually I record introductions and the intro outro later in the part. Anyway, so let's jump in, right? So many people claim that they know God, and many people claim that they heard God's voice and that they can speak to God like a friend speaks to another friend, right? But that is very, very rare, and you have to obviously be wary about that sometimes because, logically, people don't just come out and say that they have spoken to God. But in the past, there are people like that who have spoken on behalf of God, and these people are prophets and people who claim that they know God, and um, they say all kinds of stuff, whether it's prophecy or they just write songs about God, or they write the stories about how they experience God. And that's really, really wonderful. But how can people nowadays claim that they have the ear of God, or they have spoken to God, or they know God personally? Anyone who says that they have direct contact with God, usually they might be labeled as insane or lunatics or crazy people, or maybe really self-deceived people, right? And maybe they're vain and foolish and just mistaken. Maybe they're hearing voices. Who knows, right? So this is why I wanted to do this series, because, well, obviously because I am on my challenge, my July 2020 YouTube challenge. But also, besides that, I really wanted to do this for a very long time because I believe in God, and I believe that people can talk to God and people can hear from God through the Bible and through other means. I'm not going to limit how God can speak to people, but I think this course and this series of videos is really going to be addressing those questions that you might have. How can you enter a personal relationship with God? Is that even possible? Do people still do that nowadays? Like, you know, does God exist? Is he there? Is he hard to find? Is he, why is he hard to find? All those questions that people like to ask when they're beginning to question existence and God, and if God exists. And this is what these videos are going to try to address. So again, is God there? Does he exist? Can he really be known? Like, And in the beginning parts, when I introduced the series, I spoke about each part of the series and what we're going to cover in each part. And the question really is, how can you know God personally? And I believe that you can, and this is why we're talking about this right now. So sometimes people, brush it off and say, "Oh, this is wishful thinking. No one can hear God. God doesn't exist." And especially kids with their highly imaginative selves, right? You think that it's just an imaginary person, doesn't exist. God is not real. But um, like I said, I believe in God. I believe He's real, and I want to, guide people, help people find God. So I want to really re-examine my faith. This is why it's called Reflections of Faith, right? Reflections of my faith, and how you too can begin in this journey of faith and get to know God and follow along and discover who He is, what He is, and ultimately know Him. And it's going to be more like just, it's more than just meeting His acquaintance, right? It's actually knowing God and discovering Him for yourself, because He desires a personal relationship with each person. So throughout this series, I want to discover God with you together and kind of point you in the right direction. And um, you know, personally, knowing God has been the best and greatest experience in my life, and I want to share this, and this is why I created this videos series. Also to, like I say, reflect and think about my journey so far, and also invite you along and on to really try to explain and point you in the right direction. So, just like some people who are traveling on a journey, right? I want you to follow me, and you are not a blind follower. You are not going to stumble in the darkness. You're not going to not know what's going to happen. I'm going to try to guide you along and shine the light. And there's light, and there's revelation, there's enlightenment, there is God is going to reveal Himself to you during this time, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So let us try uh, to journey together and explore different parts of the Bible, as well as different parts about who God says He is, and discover who He is and what He has done in the past, and also answer those questions that are pressing in our minds. Who is He? Where is He? Where can I find Him? Can I know Him personally? So I hope that through this series, we will make God known, and that you'll discover Him just as I have. So in the next video, we're going to be talking about the first question: is God there? And you might have seen the introduction video I've done before, where I kind of lay out the whole plan of this series. So now we're going to actually dig in and discuss these questions and find the answers to them. So I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Take care. Thanks. You're still here. All right. See you tomorrow.